is a 1998 Buick Century Limited. This is the car that my daughter had and started having a few problems. She thought she found a mechanic in Bellingham that was a good mechanic. She didn't like talking to his wife because she's kind of bitchy on the phone, but she didn't mind talking to him. Now, he has done a few things to this car, but the last thing was she was having an overheating problem. I already had the water pump changed by somebody else before she found this mechanic, and she had it towed to his place, and he said the reason why it's overheating is because it had a gasket in between the water pump and the timing chain housing, I guess. I didn't look it up. And he says the water's flowing out of there. Now, what was odd, my daughter noticed that there's no water under the car, never has seen water under the car. So anyway, she decided that she just wanted to get rid of the car. The guy wanted $850 to fix it, and she'd rather put that money into a newer car. She was hoping to wait 2 years, but decided just go for it. So anyway, I'll show you what I found was wrong. So anyway, I started the car up. I made sure to put water in the radiator, even though over here you put the coolant, but that doesn't do you any good if it's out of water, because the only way it's going to take water out of there is have the engine heat up, and when it cools down, it sucks the water back into the radiator. When it has too much water, then it shoves it back to the coolant container. So anyway, I started this thing up. It looked like it had a brand new radiator cap on it, so I didn't think that was the problem. I squished this hose just to make sure that we're getting water through there. And finally, it has electric fans, they turned on. And so I knew now I have a flow, because originally I thought it was down here, the thermostat was stuck closed. So anyway, after it warmed up and whatnot, I noticed this radiator cap that was on here was dripping about 2 drips per second. Well, what happened was it dripped all the water out, and that's why it overheated. And it's irritating to know the mechanic that we thought was good turned out to kind of like suck. So I don't see where he saw a hole or anything else. And of course, this car is up in Bellingham. I took the train up there, obviously. And now that we're going to buy a new car for my daughter, a new car to her, this car had to come home. And so, even though we already bought a trip on the train home to where I live now, we just decided to shit can that ticket, because you can't get your money back unless you cancel it 24 hours before. And so I drove this car home. That morning, it was covered with ice, and we defrosted it. The thermostat the gauge was showing that it was heating up properly and cooling properly. So I took off. It's almost a 5-hour trip all the way to where I live now, and not once did it overheat. I was stuck in traffic that was doing between stop and 25 mile an hour until I hit Seattle, and right in the middle of town, all of a sudden the traffic took off and we were doing 65 to 75 mile an hour. This car did great. I love driving it, I will admit, because I know it's trashed a bit. Just to give you a history of it, this car was my wife's mom and dad's car. And after both of them passed on, then my daughter Marie and her husband got it. Well, her husband was driving this car and he destroyed it inside and out, crashed it, and then he became an ex-son-in-law, not going into detail or anything, and my son Steven, he put a new fender on and new stuff, or I shouldn't say new, it's out of the wrecking yard. It does have a crunch here, but he painted it black. You don't even see it when you're going down the road. But anyway, put this car back together. My daughter absolutely loved this car, my daughter Allison, and had memories, so she wanted it. That's why we fixed it up. And anyway, since then, it's hadn't given her too much problem, just a little bit. But she didn't have a mechanic down there back then, and it's hard for us being that far away to work on her car because that takes almost all day to get there, and then obviously you want to spend the night. So anyway, that's why she went ahead and changed out this car for the one that she got now, which is a Subaru. I forgot exactly what it is, but I do believe it's a 2016, and of course showing you the pictures of it. And she's totally happy with it. It's a pretty green color. It's a pretty green color, not in your face green, which is very nice, I will admit. And she loves the way it drives. So far she hasn't had not one complaint about that car. We did look at a, what do they call it, a VW or something like that, that red one that I showed on the pictures. She had excellent sound system in it. I mean, I'd die for that one. But what she didn't like about it is when you let go of the brake took forever to come up, the release, so you could actually take off good. And she decided, I don't want to deal with anything like that. So anyway, now this car has a problem, or has had a problem, but we never checked into it, and that is on the passenger side, it leaks water and it's coming down by the heater. Well, watching somebody else's video, click, click.
All right, guys and girls, welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? All right, check it out.
I have a feeling it's, I don't know if that's where the vent is or the fresh intake is. Let me see if I can get this open again. But anyway, I'm gonna have to take this apart. See about taking this apart here, because I thought before she got it that inside here all these leaves and dirt and everything from where the grandparents used to live was just piled in here, and I have a feeling that went down and plugged up the hole, and because the hole's plugged up, the water's flowing inside. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I always have to semi-burp when I'm doing this. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart and see if I can see down in there to see if things are plugged up or just what's going on. But I'm not gonna be too specific because it's cold out here and I want to get it done, I guess. So let me get at her. Pushing that hose off with the screwdriver because it's really on there. I got that off. These here are just kind of like caps that cover the nuts. And now I have to get the wrench to take off those two nuts. And we'll see what goes on after that. Okay, it looks like it's a 1/2 inch wrench. Kind of a tight spot, the way these Buick hoods are. So I have the wrench, it's got the ratchet thing on there, but it doesn't quite, I got loose, I guess we can get it off, but I'm setting it in the fender because it does have a lip here to hold on, and that's good there. So let's come over here and take this other one off. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be easier staying on the side I was on. Okay, to get these wipers off, you can use a BF hammer, which is probably not recommended. Or I used to have all sorts of tools because I did work on my own cars and whatnot. What Astro says to use, I don't want to. This darn hood, like I say, is right in the way. There we go. Slow but sure. Over here I gotta be a little more careful because I'm semi-prying on the plastic housing just below it. I'll be right back. I got some cussing to do, maybe. It usually helps. Okay, as I was starting to take this one off, I noticed that this splits right here. So I'm not going to take that side off. I already took that wiper off, but whatever. Let's see what this thing is. I'm going to turn the camera off again so I can talk to this thing. Wouldn't you know it, I grabbed the screwdriver that's got the tip broke on it. Let me go get the other one. Okay, I grabbed a hold of that pin, was able to pop it out of that there. And now I have my better screwdriver. Let's see if I can get a hold of inside here. Turn that, I'm gonna guess just a half a turn. Oh, there's another one of those weird pins. Here it comes. Okay, that's off. Let's see what we got here. So there's a bunch of leaves. Got this line here, which is what goes to the water sprayer. Okay, I don't know if I'm ready or not, but let's see what this thing does. This ain't off yet, so I don't know if I have to unscrew this all the way or what. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Okay, got that out. Now let's see what it does. Let's see, what's a... come right out of here. That's the other part of that plug or pin. I got this other one out, so both of them are out. Let's take this thing out and take a look in here. Okay, what I see is pure Nasty. This here is supposed to be on the window, I'm pretty sure, and that's probably another reason why it's nasty in here. Yes, right here's the filter, the in-cabin filter. It's soaking full of stuff. And for here, I see the heater fan and everything, which actually I think it's kind of odd it doesn't have a better cover. Over it. And it's just full of, like I say, the gunk and the leaves that I was telling you about. And it looks like there used to be a mouse in here, because here's some more of that plastic bag. And leaves. Look at this. And we're not done yet. I might have stuck, yeah, there's 3 or 4 of them in here. Good Lord. I hope the mouse is gone by now. There's his nest coming out, or whatever that is. Just hands full of rotted leaves, and that mouse didn't do any favors. Let me take this excuse me, this handful of bags and go throw them in the garbage before they get carried away on me. So anyway, just for a quick look, you can see down here, you can see that right there, there's the hole that the water's supposed to go down, which that wasn't plugged, it's just that it was all backing up. See all this here? Still pulling that stuff out. I'm really surprised. I can't believe this cover just sits down like this instead of something being over that. So I'm going to finish cleaning that out of there, and I'm not putting this filter back in because it's filthy. And I think what I'll do, like I say, I don't have to take those wipers off. So I think what I'll do is order one of these, or go in town, see if they have one, and possibly put a new one in at a later date, because I don't have that much time right now, because the rain's supposed to be coming, even though we have that beautiful sunshine up there. The skies don't look too bad yet, but they were calling for rain. Look at all them black walnuts up on that tree. They're just loaded up there still. So is the ground. But we'll be picking them up after the husks rot off. So anyway, I'll get back at you after I get that cleaned up. Okay, so I kind of got it cleaned out the best I can. Yeah, I should get the vacuum out, but I'm not gonna. This here is just absolutely filthy. That's gonna blow a lot of dust in as soon as it gets turned on, I will admit. But anyway, this, let's run a screwdriver down, get all the dirt out of it. clean it up a little bit. So this thing here obviously is supposed to catch the water. That falls off. Let me see here. I could be wrong, but sometimes there's metal in here that you can make this a little tighter. Sometimes not. Looks like it's squishing together pretty good. I don't know if you can see that or not. There you can see a little crack in there. Go over this and it closes it. And we're going to find out pretty quick whether this is what's going to work or not. So let's get it all redone here. Okay. Now let's try this one more time. Okay, that seemed to do the trick. Now the water's supposed to run down this and bypass where that filter just sets right in there. Like I said, I can't believe that, but I didn't build this car. So anyway, next, let me rub off some of this dirt on the seal here. If it is summertime, I'd have a bucket of soapy water here. And I'd have all this cleaned up, because you might as well clean it while you have it out. But like I say, it's cold out here. So let's pop this thing back in where it's supposed to be. Make sure our water thing is back where it's supposed to be. Right there's a little hole where that thing goes in at. So here pops in first. I'm going to pop this other one in too. Now put the, oops, I put the wrong piece in there. Yeah, I'm doing this without my glasses. Let me get the screwdriver again. That's that crappy screwdriver. Craftsman, I need to exchange if there are any Sears left. Although I hear Lowe's is now starting to sell Craftsman. And they're getting rid of that crappy line they had, which is good. Okay. Let's see here. Make sure all this is down and under this gasket. There we go. It's rough. Okay, let's see here. Screw that back into place. This little pin and turn it just right. because we'll call it a square hole. It's not square, it's what, rectangle or something. What the heck? Yeah. Goes in a certain way. It all looks the same, but it's kind of keyed by the looks of it. Okay, those are in. Now I got to put the wiper nut back on, and then turn the wipers on and bring it back down where they're supposed to be, so I can line that one up where it's supposed to be. And we're done. So, move this over here. We'll get that wiper nut on. Oops. A ratchet wrench here. I don't know if I told you, but it's a 1/2 inch. Put the hose back on this one because I have it together. Oh, and I might as well put the clips in now before I forget them. There are little clips on here for that hose to go on to. There's one there, there's one over here. All that looks good so far. Okay, let me get the wipers back down where they're supposed to be. That door sounds like it needs oiled. So, you have this cap that we need to pop back on. This nut, decorative cap or whatever you want to call it, also probably helps keep some of the moisture off of that. So this wiper, they have a stop here that I think they're supposed to go up onto and catch. These leaves. This is where you wish it was summertime, so you'd take more time at it. At getting it clean, that is. That feels pretty good. And I'll get this windshield washer hose back on. Okay, there we go. Oh, don't forget the cap. See that or not over here? Got the cap on, I got the hose on. All together now. Now all I have to do is wait for the rainstorm, which is coming tonight, to see if I was able to stop that water. In the meantime, next time I go to town, I'll see if they have a in-cabin air filter in stock, and if they do, I'll pop just that side open after I pull these wipers up out of the way and install that, so that way it has fresher air again. And I will admit the car has a smell, and it's probably because of all that nasty filter and the water coming in. So anyway, another job well done.